Welcome to Devotions from Israel, a 5-minute word of encouragement. Today's devotion comes from 1 Samuel chapter 7 and 2 Samuel chapter 6. There has always been an intrigue about the Ark of the Covenant. In fact, in 1981, Harrison Ford starred in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, as they not only discovered the Ark, but they hid the Ark in a warehouse. In fact, the leading question that I get as a teacher, where is the Ark of the Covenant? Well, it could be under the Temple Mount. It could be on the slopes in a cave near Mount Nebo. It could be in the Judean Hill Country. Maybe the Ethiopians have it, but everyone knows that Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, hid it in a warehouse somewhere. But seriously, the Ark of the Covenant has played a very prominent role in Israelite history. It's what led the way as they crossed the River Jordan, if you recall, as they entered into Canaan. The Ark of the Covenant led the way, and on dry ground, if you recall, this was carried by the priests. The Ark of the Covenant has always been viewed as a very special, even a secret weapon of the Israelites. If you recall the story in 1 Samuel 4, for instance, when the Ark of the Covenant is actually lost, it was taken into battle by the Israelites as they battled the Philistines at a place called Aphek. What happened is that the Ark was captured by the Philistines, and for about 7 months, the Ark caused all kinds of problems for the Philistines. And then they decided to return it to the Israelites at a place called Beth Shemesh. They put it on a cart pulled by 2 cows, and up the Sorek Valley it goes. And the men who were harvesting their wheat in the field of the Sorek Valley, they looked up, and what do you know? Here comes the Ark. Well, we read the next chapter after chapter 6 of 1 Samuel, when the Ark is returned to the Israelites by the Philistines. In chapter 7, this is what we read. So the men of Kiriath Jearim, which, by the way, is east of Beth Shemesh, and yet about 7 miles west of Jerusalem. The men from this city came and took up the Ark of the Lord. They brought it to the house of Abinadab, and on the hill there they consecrated Eleazar his son to guard the Ark of the Lord. And the Ark remained at Kiriath Jearim a long time, 20 years in all. So it's there for 20 years. And here comes David. In 2 Samuel chapter 6 now, David is the one who wants to now take the Ark of the Lord to Jerusalem. The Ark, again, was very instrumental in the Tabernacle. But now there was no Tabernacle. Shiloh had been destroyed, according to Jeremiah chapter 7, as Jeremiah wrote a few hundred years later. But David had in his heart to take the Ark of the Lord. Of course, in the transport of the Ark, that was a difficult journey, if you will, and yet it ends up in Jerusalem, and this is what we read about what David did. He led his people in a procession, and David, wearing a linen ephod, danced before the Lord with all his might, while he and the entire house of Israel brought up the Ark of the Lord with shouts and the sound of trumpets. So what's the devotional thought here in this historical narrative? Could it be that David wanted to honor the Lord by worshiping him? And of course, what the Ark represented to any Israelite in David's time was that the Ark represented the Torah, the Word of God, the law of God, and even the presence of God. David had in his heart a strong desire to worship the Lord. He danced with all of his might. He danced with passion to honor the Lord with bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. What's your passion today? Is it to worship the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind? Like David displayed while transporting the Ark to Jerusalem, his heart was all about worshiping and honoring God. Perhaps our lives should be desirous of the same thing, as we understand that God gives us a spirit of worship. We don't need the Ark of the Covenant to be present as we worship God. John 4 reminds us that we worship God in spirit and in truth. But may we together today honor God for who He is and certainly what He has done for us. May we maybe figuratively dance unto God and offer Him our lives as a living sacrifice. Be encouraged today with these words. Until next time, Shalom.